Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we are taking a good look into some of the creepiest little creeps who ever creeped, but also the saddest creeps who ever creeped. These are Resident Evil characters with the most disturbing backstories. Let's get into it because some of these are going to be rough. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. Ramon Salazar, Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 4.
Such a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance, Mr. Kennedy.
Ramon Salazar sucks. He's an obnoxious and thoroughly unlikable antagonist throughout the entirety of the original Resident Evil 4, and the remake sheds light on a tragic backstory that doesn't make him any more likable, but a little more nuanced. As a child, Salazar was afflicted with a rare illness that doctors believed would claim his life before adulthood. Desperate to save him, his parents turned to a mysterious cult offering the so-called cure. Guess what? Didn't go well. Sadler and his followers murdered Salazar's parents and implanted Salazar with a dominant Plaga parasite. Sure, it kept him alive, but it erased any memory of his family and twisted his personality into what we see today.
Vulgar, utterly uncivilized, mongrel.
Alexander Ashford, Resident Evil Code Veronica. The villains of Resident Evil Code Veronica, Alfred and Alexia Ashford, are among the most twisted in Resident Evil history. And since we're talking about it, Capcom, give us a damn Code Veronica remake, please. Anyway, the man who created Alfred and Alexia was none other than Alexander, who ended up becoming Nosferatu, the grotesque result of the twins' cruel genetic experiments. Alfred used his father as a test subject for Alexia's T. Veronica virus, and eventually Alexander mutated into the psychotic monster. Deeming him a failed experiment, Alfred and Alexia chained him in a secret room in an Antarctic base for 15 years, where he spent his days crying in agony.
Let's go! What, are you scared?
Shiva Alamore, Resident Evil 5.
Welcome to Africa. My name is Shiva Alamore.
Shiva only appeared in RE5, and it's easy to forget her, but while the main campaign doesn't give too much info on her, a wealth of background information is available in the library section of the main menu. Shiva grew up in a small village that unfortunately housed an umbrella facility, and wouldn't you believe it, they began conducting experiments on the local population. Color me shocked. The military was ordered to wipe out the entire village after things didn't go well to cover up any evidence of the outbreak. A young Shiva managed to escape and later attempted to return to her village to search for any surviving family members. Unfortunately, Shiva was left alone. This should have been included in the main story because it adds a layer of "this is personal" to Shiva's story.
What was that thing?
BOW that scumbag Irving left behind to set us up. Considering what it did to Alpha Team, I think we're lucky to still be breathing.
If only we could have gotten there sooner.
Mother Miranda, Resident Evil Village.
In life and in death, we give glory.
Hello? You shouldn't be out here. It's not safe.
Mother Miranda, the central antagonist of Resident Evil Village, was once a grieving mother who lost her daughter Eva to the Spanish flu in the early 1900s. Driven by sorrow, she discovered the mold deep within a cave where she intended to take her own life, before realizing the mold could preserve consciousness and had preserved the consciousness of her dead daughter. Believing she could resurrect Eva, Miranda became obsessed with creating a perfect vessel for her daughter's return. Over the next century, she performed horrific experiments on villagers, turning them into monsters or discarding them as failures. Still at her core, Miranda was a broken woman consumed by loss.
Megamycetes records. I will make sure to sample your blood for later.
Salvatore Maro, Resident Evil Village.
My daughters and I shall deliver to you the finest.
Way ugly! I want to see! He's awake!
Shut the f*** up!
Remember Salvatore? He's easy to forget as Lady D and her daughters take center stage in the Village promo, and House Beneviento and Heisenberg leave such an impression, but Salvatore is easily the ugliest villain in the game. Like many others in the region, Moreau eventually fell under the influence of a local pagan cult led by Mother Miranda. Miranda surgically implanted a parasite into him, the process she took to create a host for her deceased daughter. The infection caused severe physical and mental changes, transforming Moreau into a grotesque, fish-like creature. Miranda quickly dismissed him as a failure, and his devotion meant he was just turned into a monster instead of a host. Rough. That's like going to buy your favorite candy from the supermarket, but instead you get shot in the f***ing face.
You're done. I don't have time for this.
William Birkin, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 2.
Got eyes on the G-Virus.
Going in.
Dr. Birkin, you'll come along with us quietly.
William Berken is certainly not an easy character to like. He even presents himself as a bit of a douchebag, and while I see Berken as a tragic figure, it's more in a I pity him kind of way. He's an arrogant and neglectful father who, after being betrayed, made a desperate attempt to save himself and validate his research, only to completely lose both his body and mind in the process. The thing about William Berken is that this backstory is informed by the fact that he began working for Umbrella when he was a teenager, so it's likely he was heavily indoctrinated from a young age. That kind of corporate grooming is an incredibly difficult thing to shake, and when he's thrown to the side after dedicating his life, and arguably his morals, to Umbrella, your heart almost breaks for the guy.
You gotta be kidding me.
Evelyn, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Oh, she's so young.
Yeah, how's our other guest?
Sleeping, poor thing.
Oh, I say let him. He'll be okay here for a few days, at least while till we can get him into town.
Zoe, go get some fresh clothes from the laundry room, okay? Oh, looks like there's some sort of oil spill or something.
Yes.
Let's get this poor girl some fresh clothes and into a warm bed. We'll put her in Lucas's old room.
Everybody knows Evelyn's story, as she was featured heavily in Resident Evil 7 and tied into the later events of Resident Evil Village. Evelyn was an experiment created to crave a family while being used as a deadly weapon, which is such a harsh combo. Even after death, her existence is marked by nothing but sorrow. Her entire life was manipulated by others, designed for control, and when she does finally form a family, it's through the Bakers. It does make you feel really, really bad for her, even if her manipulation of them is clearly wrong. And later, that fleeting sense of belonging is torn from her. In the afterlife, she's met with more rejection and more scorn, especially from Miranda, who sees her as a failure, which, by the way, is so goddamn rough no matter how hard you look at it. Evelyn's story is a tragic cycle of being used, abandoned, and unloved. Just like me.
Mia, how?
There's no time. You have to get out of here and find her. Here, take this.
What? Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Saving your life.
Chief Mendez, Resident Evil 4.
Well, maybe just untie me then, huh? Joder, not this guy!
Who are you? Okay, stop right there!
Did you know that before transforming into the towering brute who relentlessly pursues Leon and Ashley, Mendez was actually a kind and well-meaning village chief who genuinely cared for his people? In the Resident Evil 4 remake, players can uncover his personal diary in his manor, revealing a gentler past. He speaks fondly of teaching the village children to read in the mornings and playing music with the adults in the evenings. This was a nice way to flesh out the character in the remake, but also another way to break out goddamn hearts. He was clearly a beloved and respected figure, however, his greatest mistake was unwillingly welcoming the men in black hoods into the village. By allowing the Los Illuminados in, he inadvertently sealed his own fate. Baker family, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
What the hell?
Rise and shine, sleepyhead. It's time for supper.
Who are all you people? Where's Mia?
Eat it. It's good.
After spending the early hours of Resident Evil 7 being hunted by Jack through the terrifying Baker mansion, a surprising truth is revealed later in the game. The Baker family were just a sweet, kind, and normal family. Jack, once thought to be a cruel and sadistic man, speaks to Ethan in a calm and sincere tone, begging him to stop Evelyn from harming anyone else as she has done to his own family. This point is driven even further home with the terrifying Marguerite appearing as a kind and sort of a classic Southern belle. The DLC expands on their backstory, showing Jack and Marguerite discovering Evelyn washed ashore during a storm and taking her in with kindness and compassion. At this point, you've already killed Marguerite, and it makes you feel really, really bad as you sealed the fates of a family who were just trying to help a child. Lisa Trevor, Resident Evil. Deep within the dark, oppressive caverns beneath the Spencer mansion, Lisa Trevor roams aimlessly, crying out for her mother. Let me tell you why. Unlike her mother, who didn't survive exposure to the progenitor virus, Lisa's body accepted the virus unusually well, which is not a good thing for a person. Death, genuinely, is far easier. As a prime test subject, Wesker and the other researchers experimented on her relentlessly for an unimaginable 28 years. Over time, her body became grotesque, mutated, to the point where she was barely human, yet her mind clung to a single thought: finding her mother, who had long since passed. This is unrealistically depressing, a lifetime of torture and the mind of a child. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.